Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to God, Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to His Holiness, GIRIRAJ SWAMI MAHARAJ. And all glories to the Samud Vaishnavi devotees. Dear devotees, we thank you all for being here today. It's very blissful to have the association of you all, and particularly of Maharaj, to begin the week. So the week must be auspicious for us, all of us. Maharaj, thank you for being here as always. We cannot thank you enough. But if we're going to follow the routine, we know you usually prefer to chant the Mangalacharam. So you may chant, and after that we'll put the verse on the screen, and we'll start. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Sagritam Raghunatham Vitam Sam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam GIRIRAJ Krishna Padam Bhavana Lalitam Shri Satam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityam Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vastracharya Svatari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi, Gaur Bhakta-vrinda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi, Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Stotra Siddhasri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Stotra Siddhasri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Now, my dear devotees, as far as possible, I request you to put on your cameras so we can see your moon-like faces, and it will be more personal. Jai. So we read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 44. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Itam Bhavena Katito Bhagavan Bhagavatama Netam Bhavena Hi Param Drastum Arhanti Suraya Itam Bhavena Katito Bhagavan Bhagavatama Netam Bhavena Hi Param Drastum Arhati Suraya Itam Bhavena Katito Bhagavan Bhagavatotama Netam Bhavena Hi Param Drastam Arhati Suraya. Synonyms. Itam, in these features. Bhavena, in the matter of creation and destruction. Katita, described. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Bhagavatama, by the great transcendentalists. Na, not. Itam, in this. Bhavena, features. He, only. Param, most glorious. Drashtum, to see. Arhanti, deserve. Suraya, great devotees. Translation. The great transcendentalists thus describe the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord is not only the creator and destroyer of the material manifestations of his different energies. He is more than a simple creator and destroyer, for there is his feature of Ananda, or his pleasure feature. This pleasure feature of the Lord is understood by the pure devotees only, not by others. So, in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma says, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarvakarana Karanam. So Ishvara Parama Krishna. Ishvara means controllers. We are all controllers within our limited spheres. But Krishna is the supreme controller. Ishvara Parama Krishna. And Satchidananda Vigraha He has a form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. So Vigraha means form, and Sat means eternity, Chit means knowledge, and Ananda means bliss. So the devotees realize this Satchidananda Vigraha, and they experience bliss, which is not known to others. And Anadir Adir Govinda, he has no origin, but he is the origin of all, Sarvakarana Karana, and he is the cause of all causes. Once I was on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles, and I quoted this verse, and I said that sometimes people ask, well, who is the origin of Krishna? And Srila Prabhupada said, I should reply that as far as we know, Krishna is the origin. But if you find someone who's the origin of Krishna, we will worship him. But in the meantime, you should worship Krishna. So, yes, so Krishna is the origin of all. And he is very kind and merciful. He's also beautiful. He is full in all six opulences, Aishwarasya Samagrasya, beauty, strength, knowledge, renunciation. So yes, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we have been brought in touch with Krishna, who is the reservoir of pleasure. And by associating with Krishna, we also become filled with pleasure, Ananda. The Vedanta Sutra says, Ananda Maya Vyasa, that the absolute truth is full of Ananda. So back to the purport. The Lord is more than a simple creator and destroyer, for there is his feature of Ananda, or his pleasure feature. This pleasure feature of the Lord is understood by the pure devotees only, and not by others. The impersonalist is satisfied simply by understanding the all-pervasive influence of the Lord. This is called Brahman realization. Greater than the impersonalist is the mystic who sees the Lord situated in the heart as Paramatma, the partial representation of the Lord. But there are pure devotees who take part in the direct pleasure, Ananda, potency of the Lord, by factual reciprocation of loving service. So this is very important. As we discussed, there are three features, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So those who realize impersonal Brahman, they realize the Sat feature, eternity. Those who realize Paramatma, the Lord within the heart, they realize Sat and Chit, eternity and knowledge or cognizance. And those who realize Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they realize all three, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. And bliss is what we all want. And we can realize bliss, experience bliss in our relationship with Krishna, our loving reciprocation with Krishna. And that will satisfy our heart's desire for pleasure. So, yes. But there are pure devotees who take part in the direct pleasure, Ananda, potency of the Lord, by factual reciprocation of loving service. The Lord in his abode, called the Vaikuntha planets, which are eternal manifestations, always remain with his associates and enjoys transcendental loving service by his pure devotees in different transcendental humors. So yes, Vaikuntha, Kuntha means anxiety, and Vaikuntha means where there's no anxiety. So the Lord in his abode, called the Vaikuntha planets, which are eternal manifestations, always remains with his associates and enjoys transcendental loving services by his pure devotees in different transcendental humors, or rasas. There are 5 primary rasas. Shantaras, which is, you could say peaceful. Then Dasuras, which is servitude, service. Then Sakuras, which is friendship. Then Vatsalyaras, which is parental affection. And then Madhuryaras, which is transcendental conjugal affection. So we can enter into any one of these 5 rasas or transcendental humors with Krishna. And as Srila Prabhupada said, if you want a master, Krishna will be the best master. If we want a friend, Krishna will be the best friend. If we want a child, Krishna will be the best child. And if we want a lover, Krishna will be the best lover. So whatever desire for relationship we have will be fulfilled to the greatest extent and in the most perfect way with Krishna. So now back to the purport. So the Lord in his abode, called the Vaikuntha planets, which are eternal manifestation, always remains with his associates and enjoys transcendental loving service by his pure devotees in different transcendental humors. The pure devotees of the Lord thus undergo a practice of that devotional service to the Lord during the manifestation of the creation and take full advantage of the manifestation by qualifying themselves to enter into the kingdom of God. The Bhagavad Gita 1855 confirms this. Bhakti mam abhijanati yavanyaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato gyatva vishyate tadanantaram. So maybe we can see that verse on the screen. Otherwise, I can just read it from the Bhagavad Gita. It's a very important verse. Yes. Translation. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Report by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and his plenary portions cannot be understood by mental speculation nor by the non-devotees. If anyone wants to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has to take to pure devotional service under the guidance of a pure devotee. So yes, this is an important point, that one engages in pure devotional service under the guidance of a pure devotee, under the guidance of a spiritual master. Otherwise, the truth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead will always be hidden. As already stated in Bhagavad Gita 7:25, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya. He is not revealed to everyone. Yes, he reserves the right not to reveal himself unless he wishes. No one can understand God simply by erudite scholarship or mental speculation. Only one who is actually engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service can understand what Krishna is. University degrees are not helpful. And yes, if we understand Krishna, we are liberated. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that that one who understands the transcendental nature of his appearance and activities no longer has to take birth in this material world, but goes back home, back to Godhead. So understanding Krishna is the key to going back home, back to Godhead. One who is fully conversant with the Krishna science becomes eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom, the abode of Krishna. Becoming Brahman does not mean that one loses his identity. Devotional service is there, and as long as devotional service exists, there must be God, the devotee, and the process of devotional service. Such knowledge is never vanquished, even after liberation. So the impersonalists have the idea that liberation means they merge and become one with God, or become one with the light, which is actually the effulgence of the transcendental body of the Lord. But such knowledge is never vanquished even after liberation. Liberation involves getting free from the concept of material life. In spiritual life, the same distinction is there. The same individuality is there. But in pure Krishna consciousness, one should not mistakenly think that the word vishate enters into me, supports the monist theory that one becomes homogeneous with the impersonal Brahman. No, we just discussed that very point. Vishate means that one can enter into the abode of the Supreme Lord in one's individuality to engage in his association and render service unto him. For instance, a green bird enters a green tree not to become one with the tree, but to enjoy the fruits of the tree. Impersonalists generally give the example of a river flowing into the ocean and merging. This may be a source of happiness for the impersonalists, but the personalist keeps his personal individuality like an aquatic in the ocean. A beautiful example that Srila Prabhupada is giving, a beautiful analogy that he's drawing. We find so many living entities within the ocean if we go deep. Surface acquaintance with the ocean is not sufficient. One must have complete knowledge of the aquatics living in the ocean depth. In other words, one should go deep into Krishna consciousness, into understanding the abode of the Lord. Because of his pure devotional service, a devotee can understand the transcendental qualities and the opulences of the Supreme Lord in truth. As is stated in the 11th chapter, only by devotional service can one understand this. Bhakti mam abhijanati. The same is confirmed here. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotional service and enter into his kingdom. After attainment of the Brahmabhuta stage of freedom from material conceptions, devotional service begins by hearing about the Lord. When one hears about the Supreme Lord, automatically the Brahmabhuta stage develops and material contamination, greediness, and lust for sense enjoyment disappears. Yes, Brahmabhuta prasanatma. When one comes to the Brahmabhuta stage, prasanatma, he becomes joyful. Brahmabhuta prasanatma, nasochati nakankshati. He has no more hankering or lamenting. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu, he sees all living entities on the same platform. Mad bhakti labhate param, in such a state one attains devotional service to Krishna. So, after attainment of the Brahmabhuta stage of freedom from material conceptions, devotional service begins by one's hearing about the Lord. When one hears about the Supreme Lord, automatically the Brahmabhuta stage develops and material contamination, greediness, and lust for sense enjoyment disappears. As lust and desires disappear from the heart of a devotee, he becomes more attached to the service of the Lord. And by such attachment, he becomes free from material contamination. In that state of life, he can understand the Supreme Lord. This is, my dear devotees, this is very encouraging. This is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam also. After liberation, the process of bhakti or transcendental service continues. The Vedanta Sutra 4.1.12 confirms this. Aprayana tatrapi hidrishtam. This means that after liberation, the process of devotional service continues. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, real devotional liberation is defined as the reinstatement of the living entity in his own identity, his own constitutional position. Yes, the Bhagavatam says, Swarupena Vavastita, that one's Swarup or constitutional position is that one is the eternal servant of Krishna. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives the same instruction, Jiver Swarupai Krishna and Nityadas, that the constitutional position of the living entity is he is the eternal servant of Krishna. So when we are situated properly as eternal servants of Krishna, we are liberated and blissful. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, real devotional liberation is defined as the reinstatement of the living entity in his own identity, his own constitutional position. The constitutional position is already explained. Every living entity is a part and parcel, fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord. Yeah, as stated in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Mamevamsa jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatana. That the living entities are eternal, fragmental parts and parcels of Krishna. Therefore, his constitutional position is to serve. After liberation, this service is never stopped. Actual liberation is getting free from misconceptions of life. So yes, this is very, very encouraging that devotional service is eternal and it continues even after liberation. So, yes, back to the purport. By development of pure devotional service, one can factually know the Lord as he is and thus be trained in the bona fide service of the Lord and be allowed to enter into the direct association of the Lord in so many capacities. The highest glorious association with the Lord is made possible in the planet of Goloka Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna enjoys himself with the gopis and his favorite animals, the Surabi cows. A description of this transcendental land of Krishna is given in the Brahma Samhita, which is considered by Lord Chaitanya to be the most authentic literature in this connection. So, yes, in Goloka Vrindavan, Lord Krishna enjoys himself with the cows, with his servants, with his friends, with his parents, and with his lovers. And by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, through the practice of Bhakti Yoga, as given to us by Srila Prabhupada, we can actually enter into a direct loving relationship with Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead, and associate with the Lord eternally in one of the 5 transcendental mellows. So, my dear devotees, thank you for listening so patiently and attentively. And now, if any of you have any questions or comments, any reflections you would like to share, you can raise your hand, your physical hand, or your virtual hand. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, as always, for such beautiful Krishna Katha. Dear devotees, like Maharaj said, if anyone may have questions, comments, realizations you would like to ask or share, please indicate by using the hand emoji, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or to speak. Hare Krishna.
And again, I request the participants, as far as possible, to put on their cameras.
Yes, please, you may do that.
You can see their moon-like faces. It's more personal. That's better. Thank you. Good.
Well, Maharaj, I have one question. Srila Prabhupada made reference to Bhagavad Gita 1855, which we read the purport. And Srila Prabhupada indicated that the living entity is naturally endowed with devotional service. Now, because we have this opportunity of going on the web and reach out as many people as possible across the globe, everyone can come online and speak. And so I've heard some reputable devotees who've been saying that devotional service is not inherent to the living entity, that it is something that someone will have to be given by another person, but the living entity is not by nature inherent. But from what from what I understand from Srila Prabhupada's teachings, the living entity has always been endowed with a devotional service, but it's covered. So if my understanding is correct, then Maharaj, what is your advice to devotees in general? Because devotees these days, everybody is online. How careful we have to be when we hear whatever we hear online, which may be contrary to Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Krishna. Well, what you said is absolutely true. Again, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jive Swarupai Krishnari Nityadas, The constitutional position of the living entity is he is the eternal servant of Krishna. And so bhakti or devotional service is there, inherent in the heart of every living entity. It is also said, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sabu Kabunai Sudha Chitit Krishna. What is that? Let's see. It's a very relevant and important verse. I'll just read it properly. Yes. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 22, text 107. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Shavanadi Sudha Chitte Kare Uday. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entities. Yes. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. So this is further evidence. Jiveswara Pai Krishna Nityadas, the constitutional position of the living entity, is he's the eternal servant of Krishna. So there's no doubt about it.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. This is so beautiful. There was one time I was reading something from the scriptures, and Srila Prabhupada had said that I've already answered everything. Just read my books. And he is absolutely right. It's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this, Maharaj. I'll try to save this and try to study it much deeply as much I possibly can. Thank you so much. We have some hands up. Kristova, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. I'm Vrishabhanu Nandini, but I forgot to change my name here. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Nice to see you.
Thank you very much for the class. As far as I understand that in Srimad Bhagavatam here states that by hearing we are purifying our lust, our wishes, and it lead us to understand who Krishna is. And it was also quote from Bhagavad Gita about Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, Sachitananda. And my question is how to check ourselves if we really understand Brahman, Paramatma, or even Bhagavan. How deep should be other knowledge about Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Brahman, just by hearing, by serving in the temple, the deities, to be in this process. As far as I understand, it is enough to understand Krishna, to become back to Godhead. Or can I check myself if I understand Bhagavan is real? Just I can understand this position of Lord only by imagination, so-called, or by just understanding what Srila Prabhupada explains us. But I have no myself experience, no so deep experience with this. Is it important to have experience, or just by be engaging in the service, it's enough to come back to to the Lord? This is the first question. I have two, if it's possible.
Yeah, you can you can go back home, back to Godhead, by understanding Krishna. I mentioned the verse earlier, which is Bhagavad Gita 4:9. Janma karma chamedevyam evam yo veti tattvataha tattvadeyam purnarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So, yes, just understanding Krishna, the transcendental nature of his appearance and activities, qualifies us to go back home, back to Godhead.
Does it mean that by learning from Srimad Bhagavatam, from books, from Srila Prabhupada books about Krishna, it is enough to understand Lord as he is? Yes.
Yeah, if one hears submissively, one can understand Krishna as he is from Srila Prabhupada's books and go back home, back to Godhead.
Nice. Okay. And can I ask the second questions from my little son Damodar? He had a question to you and asked me to make a question.
Okay.
He asked
me. How old is Damodar now?
He's 8.
Okay.
He's 8. One time he asked me to clarify this question: what is more important, prasadam or Bhagavatam? And he recognized that we can eat prasadam and it is no more left, but Bhagavatam will stay forever with us. But my answer didn't satisfy himself, because I said, yes, of course, prasadam is important, but Bhagavatam. And he asked specially, please ask your guru, please ask GIRIRAJ Swami Maharaj, and then I will satisfied. Could you please answer, and I will reply to him.
So his question is, what is more important, prasad or Bhagavatam?
Yes.
Well, on the absolute platform, there's really no difference, because Krishna Prasad is Krishna, and Srimad Bhagavatam is also Krishna. And I would say that if he wants to focus on Krishna Prasad at this stage, it's okay. He can focus on Krishna Prasad, and when he gets older and is more mature, then he can focus more on Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the questions, more especially the question from your son. Very beautiful question. But Maharaj, I just wanted to add that, of course, you answered very beautifully that once you read Srila Prabhupada's books, yes, one will understand Krishna. But if one reads Srila Prabhupada's books, that will also help the individual to understand that he has to approach a bona fide spiritual master and learn from him. Because Srila Prabhupada gave so many times, so many examples how we cannot just read textbook and become medical doctors. You have to go to a doctor and study under him. Therefore, we have to go to a living spiritual master and study Srila Prabhupada's books under such an individual. So thank you. We go to Rashmi. Rashmi, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This verse, please excuse me if I ask a question which I should not ask, but this verse is saying that the great transcendentalists describe the activities, but the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things. So, the second canto, Maharaj, which the bit sections of second canto and third canto which deal with the creation, is very hard to understand. And it's not quite, there's nothing interesting. It is very technical how the creation is taking place step by step by step. So from this verse, can I take away that it's okay if you don't understand, you can just skip it and is?
Yes, yes. I mean, once I asked Srila Prabhupada about reading, and he said, I can read wherever I have taste. So, you know, if you have less taste in one section and more taste in another section, then you can focus on the section where you have more taste.
Okay, Maharaj. And one more question, Maharaj, related to this. So the great transcendentalists here, when the verse says the great transcendentalists, so are these great transcendentalists devotees? Because impersonalists and jnanis will not accept that Krishna has created, is creating, he's destroying. He's the mastermind behind all this. So these great transcendentalists are also devotees, right?
Yes.
They are all.
They're devotees.
Okay. So then why don't these great transcendentalists, why don't they want to go beyond all that creation and destruction and know more all the interesting bits, like the things mentioned in the 10th canto?
No, they do want to. They do want to go beyond that and ultimately experience ananda and bliss in reciprocation with Krishna. Yeah, they do want to go beyond.
They want to go. Okay. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Nice to see you.
Hare Krishna. So thank you so much for your question, Rashmi, Devi. So we go to Grace Raseshwari. Please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I have a question. You said about the here earlier. You said talked about devotional the devotional service, and you go back. But I have a different question. If you do instead of
pure devotional service, you go back.
Pure.
It's not pure. Can you still go back?
If it's pure devotional service, you go back to God. But if it's just devotional service, will you still go back?
If what?
If it's not pure devotional service and it's just devotional service, then will you still go back to Krishna?
Well, we should understand what pure devotional service is. Srila Rupa Goswami gives the definition of pure devotional service. Anya vilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulena krishna anushilanam bhakti uttama. So anya vilasita sunyam means without any other desire. Jnana karmadi and avritam, not covered by jnana or karma, not covered by mental speculation or fruitive work. Anya vilasita sunyam, jnana karmadi and avritam. Anukulyena means it should be favorable to Krishna. Krishna Anushilanam, and that means it's like a continuous cultivation. Bhakti Uttama, that is your devotional service. So if one engages in pure devotional service by that definition, one is eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. And mixed devotional service, I suppose when you say impure devotional service, you mean mixed devotional service, means devotional service mixed with karma or jnana. Then one will not be eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. One will have to come to the state of engaging in pure devotional service.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Nice to see you. I was missing you. I was delighted when I saw that you joined the meeting. Hare Krishna.
I miss you too. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your beautiful question. As young as you appear in this body, to ask such a wonderful, deep, philosophical question is amazing. Thank you so much. Gaurav Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. Maharaj, I have a question, not related to today's class, but I was reading, Maharaj, in one of the purports, that Prabhupada writes that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, has expansions which are portions and then plenary expansions. Maharaj, what is the meaning of plenary expansions here in this context?
Oh, well, plenary means full. So, yeah, some of his expansions are full and some are partial. But they're all expansions of Krishna, and in that sense, they all are Krishna, but some are more full manifestations and some are less complete manifestations.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So we have a question from Damodara Krishna Prabhu. Please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for that nice lecture. Guru Maharaj, I have a question from your book, Dancing White Elephants. At one place, you were talking with His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and then you said that in the book, you said that you found out that Tamal Krishna Maharaj was not just a senior disciple, but he was very close to Srila Prabhupada. As in sometimes Srila Prabhupada would have a very would call to Tamal Krishna Maharaj for some of the important discussions. So, and then you said that and recently I was talking to one of the devotees, and he was also saying that there are disciples of a guru, and then there are some disciples who are very close to guru. So I wanted to understand or ask, how can we become the first category, which is close to Guru Maharaj? Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, by following all of his instructions. Just a minute, I'll be right back.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Nadia Gojumenitananda Mahajan Nadia Gojumenitananda Mahajan Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan Shraddha Bhanjan hai, Shraddha Bhanjan hai Shraddha Bhanjan hai, Shraddha Bhanjan hai Prabhu Agai Bhai Magiye Bhikha Prabhu Agai Bhai Magiye Bhikha Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika Aparara Shunna Hoy Loho Krishna Naam Aparara Shunna Hoy Loho Krishna Naam Krishna Mato Krishna Pito Krishna Dana Pran Krishna Mato Krishna Pito Krishna Dana Pran Krishna Samsara Koro Charyana Cham Krishna Samsara Koro Charyana Cham Divedaya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharmasha
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Is it Kush? Please, you may unmute and go ahead to ask your question, please.
Maharaj was to answer the question how to become closer to the Guru.
Okay, all right. So maybe Maharaj may go back to revisit the question.
Yes, so Srila Prabhupada said there are 4 categories of disciples, and the second class will receive an instruction from the Guru and execute it perfectly. But the first class will know what the Guru wants, even without being told by the Guru, and will do it. So that's the ideal. That's the ideal. But second class is also good. Receives an instruction from the Guru and executes it perfectly. But first class knows what the Guru wants, even without being told by the Guru, and he does it.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, I just have a follow-up on that. So, Guru Maharaj, in order to go from second to first, it seems like we need the mercy of our Guru, as well as we need to have a good sadhana. Like how can we go from second to first, or like go from one level to another?
Yeah, of course, good sadhana, especially good attentive, prayerful japa, and then just praying to be able to anticipate what the Guru wants and to be able to execute it even without being asked. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Kusha Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances. My question is on the translation. Prabhupada is talking about at the end of the millennium, Krishna destroys through Rudra. My question is, what is the benefit of Krishna for destroying his creation? It's like a man built a house and he destroyed his house by himself. So what does Krishna stand to gain when he destroys the creation?
Well, it's not that Krishna gains anything by destroying the creation, but it's just the nature of things in the material world. Everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the creation also has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in a way, it's good for us to understand that the material creation is temporary, because we want an eternal life full of bliss and knowledge. And so knowing that the material creation is temporary can serve as an impetus to us to qualify ourselves to go to that realm which is eternal and which is not temporary.
My second question, Maharaj, Krishna said, my devotee never perish. But we saw how like Samba, how his devotees lost all their lives when Krishna left the planet. His great-grandchildren, how they lost their lives. So it seems like they also perish, even though he said, my devotees will never perish.
Well, they didn't really perish, but that was Krishna's arrangement to bring them all back home, back to Godhead. He needed some device to arrange for them to all go back home, back to Godhead, and that was his arrangement. They didn't really perish.
Well, thank you so much, Maharaj. This process of going back home, back to Godhead, it's very, very difficult, if not all the times. I will say sometimes, but it's very difficult seeing your loved one leave his or her body. And even though we may be solaced that he or she is now with the Lord, but the process is very painful. I wish Lord Krishna had a different way of making the journey for us, but this is what he has for us.
So Srila Prabhupada said that when a Vaishnava departs, we feel simultaneously happy and sad. We feel happy because the Vaishnava has gone to serve Krishna, and we feel sad because we will miss the Vaishnava's association. So both are there.
Yeah.
Maharaj, I have one last question, please.
Okay, go ahead.
What did Prabhupada told you were very close to him about Ratha Yatra? Because this month, all over the world, Ratha Yatra is going on. What really is the history of Ratha Yatra? Can you give us some stories on Ratha Yatra?
The history of Ratha Yatra in ISKCON? Well, it began in San Francisco, and yeah, it was a great festival in Golden Gate Park. And from there, as you mentioned, it's gone all over the world by Srila Prabhupada's mercy and Lord Jagannath's grace. Yeah. There's some wonderful video footage of Srila Prabhupada at the Rath Yatra in San Francisco. He's on the chariot, he's throwing flowers. People in the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Maharaj. I think sometime last week, we were very much blessed. We had Her Grace Mother Malati come here to speak to us.
Wonderful.
And she was sharing about the glories of Jayananda Prabhu. And we cannot talk about Ratha Yatra and ISKCON without mentioning Jayananda Prabhu's name. And so she read so many wonderful, amazing pastimes of this amazing devotee. And all we can say is that we are very much grateful to Srila Prabhupada and his disciples for giving us Krishna consciousness just the way Srila Prabhupada gave them. But me, personally, sitting here, I sometimes entertain some fear and worries that I may not be here, I may be here. After all Prabhupada's direct disciples are gone, the movement may face some challenges because of some changes. I wouldn't think that some devotees would blatantly would like to change what Srila Prabhupada has given us, but because we have this philosophy of due to time, place, circumstances, sometimes the circumstances may compel some devotees to make some adjustments, which should be temporary, but it may come to stay, and from that point on may change what Srila Prabhupada has given us as we are learning through his disciples. So my concern is, if it is possible, before the world loses all the direct disciples of Srila Prabhupada, maybe, just maybe, a step could be taken to address the standards that Srila Prabhupada gave the world, so that whether we have his direct disciples still with us here physically or not, everybody can go to that particular reference to understand what Srila Prabhupada gave us. I very much remember some time ago, my Gurudev, His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, used to tell us in West Africa that he is training us in such a way that if 50, 100 years to come, someone wanted to see exactly how Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON, they can come to West Africa and find it. I don't know if we are still doing it, but this was his desire. So I also have this little bit of a desire that, if possible, something could be done so that those who come after us, the different fourth, fifth, sixth generations, they will follow exactly what Srila Prabhupada gave us. Because if we change what Srila Prabhupada gave us, I'm afraid the potency may not be there. This is my concern, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I mean, we have Prabhupada's books. As he said, these are law books for mankind for the next 10,000 years. So we don't need to speculate about what Srila Prabhupada wanted, because we have his books. And yeah, we should follow his books. We have his example. We should follow his example. And as you said, we have his disciples who are faithfully executing his orders and following in his footsteps.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. So we go to Sudama Krishna Prabhu. Please, you may unmute. We cannot hear you yet. Sudama Prabhu?
Unmute.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, my question is regarding when you said about the departing of the Vaishnavas. Maharaj, recently my Guru Maharaj, he departed, and I had a question that in coming 50 years, there may be a chance that I may become forgetful of the instructions of my spiritual master, and I may become forgetful of the realizations of the memories, because this material nature it's very, very powerful. It makes people forget. It makes people thankless, guiltless. But on the other hand, when we see you all spiritual masters, you have so much love for Srila Prabhupada. Means whenever you all are narrating about Srila Prabhupada, those realizations, they are so ever refreshing. So Maharaj, how can we have same kind of attitude for Srila Prabhupada, for our Gurujans, so that we may always remember them?
Yeah, it's your duty to always remember your spiritual master. Yes, it's unfortunate that he left, but he's left so much for you, instructions, service, and his own example, wonderful, extraordinary example. So you just have to always keep his memory alive by remembering his instructions, remembering his activities, and executing his will. Yeah. I think of Srila Prabhupada's dedication to Srimad Bhagavatam, which he dedicated to his spiritual master. He said, he lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower lives with him. He lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower lives with him.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your advice. Rashmi Prabhuji, if I may just add a little bit of something to the beautiful statement Maharaj has made. And I'm able to say this because I am also in the same situation as yourself. I also do not have my Gurudev physically present with me. And what's been helping me somehow is that we all know by the infinite wisdom of Srila Prabhupada, he gave us so many wonderful devotees. So I think it's the same in devotional service also. In Africa, we, by culture and by tradition, everybody respects their father, but we actually respect our uncles even much more than our father. And I think that is the same thing in Krishna consciousness also. So Srila Prabhupada gave us so many moons. And so if we lose our own father, we still have so many dependable uncles that we can look up to. So that is what I am doing, and lots of my god brothers, god sisters, that's what we're doing. And so even though the pain is there, but it's not too much. So you're here with Maharaj, so that is a solace. So that is my 2 cents. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Raseshwari, please, you may unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm Rasesh's mother, and I actually wanted to say something. I'm Manjari Gopika. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you so much for your class. The question that was just answered, I just wanted to, it reminded me, I was going to send you a letter to express appreciation for your books. In particular, I'll Build You a Temple. One of our community members in Dallas is a disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, who recently left his body. And we have a group chat, and someone had posted a comment. It was a quote by Bhaktisiddhanta talking about serving the spiritual master. And she said, well, how do I do that now that my spiritual master's gone? And I reached out to her and I said, I don't have personal experience, but I referred her to your book, I'll Build You a Temple. And I shared with her how you spoke about, what you were going through shortly after Prabhupada left. And in particular, the purports of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, verses 45 to 55. So I sent her that, and then I sent her snapshots also of those pages of the book. And then I met with her and she said, thank you so much. She said, it really helped me to know that someone as advanced as GIRIRAJ Swami went through, the same things that I'm experiencing. So thank you so much, Maharaj.
Wonderful, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. We all need that from time to time, if not all the time. Because like I was saying, I believe we all would have wished that Krishna had devised another method for us living this material world to go back to him. But this is the method, and we have to live with it. Rashmi Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This is a practical question, Maharaj. In one of your classes on deity worship, you mentioned that the deities at home are an expansion of the temple deities. And also my Siksha Guru had told me that whatever deities you have at home, you must promise them what you're going to do. So when you will bathe them, how many bhogas you will offer them. So now let's say my usual dilemma is that, okay, I'm offering 2-3 meals a day. The days I have promised them that when I'm at home, I will offer you 4 meals. When I'm at work, you will get 1 meal. So, but if I'm called to the temple for backup service, for cooking for a program, or cooking for the deities, for backup for Rajbhog or something, and it absolutely coincides with the lunchtime of my own deity. So then I don't know what to do. And when I ask devotees in the temple, they say, oh, it's all one and the same. But that does not suit me. I feel they are starving at home whilst I'm in the temple. So because they are depending on me, no? So what should I do?
Well, I mean, I tend to agree with what the devotees have told you, because, I mean, Krishna is Krishna. So if you're serving Krishna in the temple, so your Krishna at home will also be served. I don't think he'll starve.
Okay. Okay, Maharaj.
Yeah, he'll be okay. He'll be fine. He'll be happy.
Hare Krishna. I think Rashmi Devi, your question applies to me too. And I think it applies to every devotee. Maharaj, I have one last question. We are trying to study Srimad Bhagavatam in a systematic chronological order. And I had heard from one devotee that if one studied the Srimad Bhagavatam in systematic manner, 1 verse a day, it would take one about 50 years. And we would like to study the entire Bhagavatam, but most of us are not going to be here for 50 years. So that means that if we study the Bhagavatam the way we are doing at the moment, we will not be able to get far before most of us leave our bodies. And we would like to do it together. Individually, we can all read and study. But I just wanted to ask you of your opinion as to how we can study this Bhagavatam systematically and at the same time be able to get done with one chapter faster enough, much more than what we are doing now, so we can go far into the Srimad Bhagavatam to Canto 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like that. Because if we do it the way we're doing now, collectively coming in here every day, 5 days in a week, in about 40, 30 years, we still may be discussing Canto 6. So if you may give us some suggestions. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Well, of course, you can study Srimad Bhagavatam outside of the programs at
Yes.
Hare Krishna Africa. But if you're worried about getting further along in the programs of Hare Krishna Africa, I don't think you need to worry about that. I mean, if you want, you can, I don't think you need to worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Africa will take its own course, but in your personal reading and study, yeah, you should.
Okay. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you so much for your fatherliness. And devotees, if no one has anything to say or ask, then we're going to ask if Maharaj has any concluding words, and then we'll request the devotees to unmute. Okay, so we have one hand up, Maharaj. Lalita Devi, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for extending yourself all the time for us. Guru Maharaj, in my limited observation of devotees who have done well, the ones with good resolve, like yourself, and many on the path. And it just seems like a very special character they have, or gift or blessing from above. How can struggling, aspiring sadhakas continue to have that resolve, Guru Maharaj, that determination?
Yeah, well, I think in a good japa always helps. Sincere, attentive japa and prayer. Yeah. And you can do it. Anyone can do it. You can do it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Lalita Devi, for the beautiful question. Mahalakshmi, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, I am Ganga Devi, that we are here all together in Madrid. I wanted to ask you, I was reading now the book about Yamuna, and she was expressing her worries about the second generation of devotees, how they have not tasted Krishna consciousness, and she was really loving with them, And now recently also the National Council, it was talked by GIRIRAJ Chaitanya Prabhu, the need of passing to the next generation, no? That we are getting old and we have to involve the young generation, no? In our temples, in our teaching. And how we can do this? You have any advice? Because it's like we don't have this love that Jamuna has for the young people to really, enthusiast them and give them so much inspiration. But we want to do something even in our humble stage, no? You have any advice?
Yeah, well, we have to invest in the next generation, like Narottam.
Yeah, he's a rare case, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, you need more like, yeah, we have to do that. Sure.
Well,
Pray for us, Guru Maharaj, that we can do it.
I will.
well, thank you so much, Mahalakshmi. I think it's a very necessary concern that we should have, because as much as we have such concern, then we'll become more cautious and conscious of what we do and what we say, and how we do things and how we say things. So we all are trying to remember whom we're trying to represent. We're all trying to represent Srila Prabhupada. And therefore, we wouldn't want to say or do anything to drag his name in any muddy soil. So, thank you. Maharaj, if you have a concluding words, you may do that, and then we'll bring this to a final closure for today. And thank you so much always for being here and blessing us with your wisdom and, more importantly, your love. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
I thank all the devotees for joining and listening so patiently and attentively, and for making such good comments and asking such nice questions. And if we're going to end now, I suggest we conclude with Vaishnava Pranam.
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. I think, I'm sorry, we usually chant the Maha Mantra and then we chant the Vaishnava Pranam.
Fine, wonderful.
Okay. Thank you so much. So again, what is we all humbly requested to unmute and die. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Jacopa Tarubiska, Kripa Sindhu Divacha, Patitanam Pavanabhyo, Vaishnavadhyo.
Koti Vaishnava.
All glories to His Holiness GIRIRAJ Swami Maharaj Ki. All glories to Samud Vaishnavi devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Maharaj.